The New Britain Board of Education, providing students with a high-quality education.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. I'd like to call this meeting of New Britain Board of Education regular school board meeting to order at 6:02. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ms. Rutkowski, would you lead us off, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Edwards, if you could please call the roll.
Absolutely. I have Ms. Gail Sanders Connolly.
Here.
I have Mr. Merrill Gay.
Excused.
I have Mr. Joseph Listro.
Here.
Mr. Anthony Kane with a C.
Yo.
Mrs. Monica Dawkins.
Here.
Mr. Anthony Kane with AK.
Here.
Mr. Matthew Marino.
Here.
Miss Annie S. Piper.
Here.
Miss Diana Reyes. Here. And Miss Tina Santana.
Here. Thank you. We could all just take a brief moment of meditation. Thank you. Public participation. We have Alderwoman Desiree Costa.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Just a couple of things. So first, New Britain High School PTO hat. We do need volunteers for the snowball dance in February. I'll get dates out to everybody, but we welcome any volunteers and would appreciate them. And I'm going to come in every month and talk about the all-night grad party. So we would love for everybody to participate and volunteer and contribute in any way that you can. So more details to come. I'm going to talk about that every month. Because lovingly and foolishly, I'm in the kitchen again that night. Couple of other things. I was able to go to Student of the Month award program at Jefferson today. My Sophie is a Student of the Month. And it was just such a fun event because Mr. Lewis does this incredible job at Jefferson. He always does an incredible job. But the entire room was like you were at a basketball game. So all of the kids were like celebrating each other, high-fiving each other as they're coming up. Like there's just teachers and students high-fiving and really, really making the day special. So of course it's already always so special, but Mr. Lewis has this gift of just making something even more pronounced and more special at Jefferson. So it was really fun. Tanya Vivas at homeschool is doing an incredible job. So I don't know if you all see all of the messages from the schools on social media, but Tanya Vivas is the family school liaison at homeschool, and she makes sure that everybody knows everything. She does this incredible job of keeping everybody informed, inviting people to come in, creating these exciting events, and keeping things very engaging at homes. And I picked it up just because I happen to like all of the schools, and there's just this homes tick that keeps coming, and it's awesome. Their PTO has done a great job too. I was invited to read during the conference night last month or the month before, whenever we had conferences. They invited a lot of readers in. And I thought it was a really good idea to keep students and families engaged in conference night, to have readers come in, to give out special, books, and to have hot cocoa that was provided by Parks and Rec, and the PTO provided food. And it was just like a really great opportunity to be able to engage with the community, but also to keep the families really engaged in those conference nights. So I thought that was awesome. I wanted to give a shout out to New Britain High School for all of the work that they did for the Wreaths Across America. So the band, the school hosted the event, and then they attended the event at the cemetery, at Fairview Cemetery as well. Really nice job, really well handled. And then the Magicals made the entire holiday season a treat for everybody. They were everywhere at every event. I commend those kids. They worked harder than probably any of us that entire season. They did a really, really great job. And finally, it's budget season. I'm sorry to end on a sour note. So, Alderwoman Ortiz Luna and I are going to tag team the workshops. We're both going to try to get here, but we have a couple of conflicting commitments. Most likely, I'll step in and out, and she'll stay. But thank you guys. Happy New Year. We're off to a good start. Oh, and I'm so excited to hear about yoga instruction.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? One more time. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? All right, perfect. Moving on to new business. I'll entertain a motion to, I'm assuming this is executive session. To go into an executive session to discuss a pending litigation with Dr. Gasper, the full board,
The city attorney.
the city attorney, and Miss Manning?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we shall be back. All right, we are back.
Need a motion to come to executive session?
No. May I have a motion for item A, pending litigation for Nazir I'm not gonna say it right. The Board of Education.
I motion that we offer a settlement of $7,500 to settle the lawsuit for Niger Koliat versus the Board of Education.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. So, item 3, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. As has become my new kind of pattern, my tradition is the board is getting a preview of our district dispatch newsletter in your packet. Again, special thanks to Powell Figot from our communications department. Does an excellent job of making it look like a real professional magazine, so thankful for his creativity. Also thankful to the team members who contributed, but equally thankful for all the really great things happening across our school district. Everything from the visit from Lieutenant Governor Bysowitz to kick off her coding challenge to, as was mentioned earlier, Wreaths Across America. Really, really nice things happening in our school district last month, so I'm very, very thankful for that. So that, with the other attached documents, is my report for you tonight.
All right, thank you for that. Committee reports. Curriculum.
Didn't meet.
Didn't think so. Policy, I don't think met. Finance.
We met last month. We went over the slate roof project, a few other construction projects. We also discussed a couple donations and also talked a little bit about the green bus contract.
Thank you. Has wellness met, Mr. Westrell?
Wellness has not met, but we did schedule a meeting for January 24th.
Thank you. Board reports. Does anybody have any board reports?
I attended last month the magical performances. Very impressed with our own board member here, Thomas. Didn't recognize him at first until, especially after Gail pointed him out, I didn't recognize him. But did a great job, you guys.
Thank you.
You can tell by
And I am concerned about being a neighborhood resident of the high school. I was concerned with the number of high school students I saw wandering the neighborhood last week. I had counted 6 during the day. Talking with the gas station owner, he also told me it's been a concern for him as well. His kids are there constantly. Even today, my wife was home sick and they reported that there were kids all over the neighborhood today too. And I've heard from quite a few residents the last couple of weeks about kids in the high school, damage to property, etc.
Anybody else? Ms. Santana.
I too went to Wreaths Across America, and I can just tell you that it was really, really moving, just the recognitions that were being offered. And I do the 1-2 punch, so the Wreaths Across America, I did the kickoff over there at New Britain High School, and then we also did the actual event at Fairview Cemetery. and laying wreaths and doing the ceremony there, and both times it was just really amazing. So I encourage everyone in the community, it's always around the second week of December, with also the wreaths that they take down the first week of January. I encourage everyone, and not just because I'm a Gold Star family, but I encourage everyone to do it. I would usually do it in Washington DC for the last 3 years. I've done it here locally, and just work out, and it's really, really fun, just to really get together in the camaraderie. So I encourage it. It was really, you did a really great job.
And I will echo Mr. Kane. I did sneak a selfie with Tomas today. And I just, I did it really quiet. I don't want to be in his face, but it was always a good, nice job. It's always beautiful. Anybody else?
I'm sad that I missed the magical feast. I was out of state, but I did get to attend Pulaski's winter concert, and the kids were amazing. I was so proud.
I think we've embarrassed Thomas enough.
Sorry, but it was really good. Anybody else? Student representatives.
Okay. Well, I guess I should start by saying that yes, we had the Madrigal's Feast, and everyone has already addressed that. I did see her take a selfie of me, and she stuck it over her shoulder running around caroling. Yeah, and that went off without a hitch. The season was great. We got around, like we were here too at the board. I don't know if anyone here attended, but we were at the board, we were at the city hall, we were at the library, we were just all around. And yeah, okay, I want to state multiple things. Not really state, but like bring up. Okay, our yearbook club. It's gone off a little late to a start. We have the cover of the yearbook selected. We haven't really got to many page designs. We will get this done though. We already sent out the order forms, so students can already order it. As of now, there are 3 active members, including myself, at every meeting. But I'm sure we can probably grow some recognition for it. Newspaper club is in a similar situation. We've been wanting to reinstate. I guess we had Red and Gold or something before.
Yeah.
We've been meaning to reinstate a student paper, and we are anticipating release for semester 2. The website URL will be canescurrent.com. Current, COURANT. That'll definitely be posted when it comes out. I am the website admin and designer.
Tomas, what activities aren't you in?
Well, I'm not doing a sport this season.
Next season.
I had you pegged for a hurdler.
Yeah. I actually did want to bring up sports too, because we've had huge sports events, like really well attended. Girls basketball, boys basketball. Boys basketball has the pep band, cheerleaders. It's a really big event. And we actually have some students at New Britain High School are on the state volleyball team. Husky. I don't know if you guys went to or I don't know if anyone would have attended the Nike volleyball tournament. It was this past weekend in Hartford, the convention center. Yeah, we have 6 students from New Britain High School on the team, the Husky team, which is huge because there were people from like all around America there, and wrestling. I mean, that's another really big, huge event, like people yelling. Well, I feel like there was something else I wanted to say now, but I think I'll have to pass the mic.
Going off of what Mr. Kane said earlier about students just walking around the neighborhood, I also noticed that on my way to school, I'll see just groups of students walking around the neighborhoods. I brought it up with Mr. Pierce a couple weeks back, and from what I understand, he's already in the works of making a position to, because it's out of the school's jurisdiction to have the student resource officers lead campus. But from what I understand, he is trying to create a position or get someone there to bring the students back into school. I wanted to report about some things going on in the Met Academy. Last month during December, students in the Met Academy designed and created Christmas ornaments. I don't know which software they used because I wasn't a part of that, but we used our laser engravers to create these out of wood. I actually have a couple. I can pass them down. But we just created these there was custom or there was like pre-orders. So students and teachers were able to order them, and it was like a fundraiser for the Met Academy to buy more materials and just fund our program. Another thing is our engineering and computer integrated manufacturing class. It's mostly 3rd and 4th year engineering or manufacturing students, and currently we are designing and creating a tic-tac-toe board made of aluminum. And it's really great because I'm a 4th year manufacturing student, so I don't really see the engineering side too much. So what the teachers had done was split the engineers and the manufacturers and put them into the opposite classrooms. So now I'm learning to use Fusion 360, which is a 3D software, to basically design the piece, the board, the tic-tac-toe board, that we will then be transferring onto a CAD software so we can make it on a CNC machine.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, and then this is it was a prototype piece just to learn how to use the CNC software that we made out of aluminum.
So how many girls are in your manufacturing class?
My freshman year, or technically sophomore year, it was just me, but now we have 3. The 2 others are more on the engineering side, so they're more with the software stuff. So it's different, but we stick together.
Hey, girl power.
Now, what was this for? Sorry.
It was just to learn the process of CNC.
I work with engineers all day, and they build, things to put our pens in,
Yeah.
erasers, just to play around. Awesome.
Hello everyone. What I wanted to touch upon today is really just really much of a shout out and really just honoring a lot of people that put a lot of effort into extracurriculars in our school. And one club that I'm in is HOSA, and really so the past couple of meetings that we've done is just create some stuff for residents in assisted living homes and people that just don't have family really to come by so much. So we did we created a lot of cards to give out, and we got feedback from the assisted living home. I forgot which one specifically, but it was many assisted living homes, and that they really appreciated our kindness and putting our effort into that. So I just wanted to say that for extracurriculars. I also want to just really I'm really proud of the programs that are in our school, especially programs that enlighten students to turn to internships, get into that work opportunity and really learn as well. One internship, actually 2, provided with the partnership of the Hospital for Special Care and the Hospital of Central Connecticut. So I'm really proud of being part of that program and also being part of that into that area of extracurriculars and internship program.
Thank you.
Great report. Thanks, guys.
All right, so moving on to presentations. Item 1 is smaller renovation project closeout.
So we're going to hear from Ms. Gonzalez. As the board may be aware, the Board of Education has had some, the term is closeout, which means formally finalizing a construction project, thereby allowing the state of Connecticut to provide the municipality with the promised reimbursement. So Ms. Gonzalez is going to give us the details. I want to thank her publicly, though, because this has been a task for her to go back into paperwork that's actually much older than her time here. So she's had to go back into documentation that was created and hopefully set aside by people who were doing her role long before she was here. And also thank our colleagues in City Hall for their cooperation in making sure the numbers match. Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Dr. Gasper. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to everyone. As Dr. Gasper mentioned, we've been spending some time with the Office of State Construction and Grants Review under audit for both Smalley and Gaffney renovations. We've prioritized Smalley being the largest amount of $29 million, and we are toward the end, hopefully, of that audit. The state has asked that we provide them with the financial documentation, which is an EDO 495, which pretty much summarizes all of the finances for the project. We spent some time with the city director of finance and making sure that everything matched up. The last portion of this, hopefully, is a formal acceptance of the project being closed out. That has never actually happened at the board level. It did at the SBC in June of 2020, I believe. So we, as a board, we'll have to move that forward and just formally accept it as a closed project in order for us to actually finalize the audit to go along with the EDO 495.
Who does all of the work? Is it the city and the Board of Ed does all of the filings for the closeouts?
For
like
closing
the consultants don't do anything. Architects.
That's all the board's job. At the end of a project, we formally close it out through the Department of Facilities. So we prepare all the documentation. We work with, if we need to, with the city's finance side to ensure that the ledger matches what we have in documents, and then we submit that to the state.
Thank you.
It took some time to get all of this documentation, especially with the projects being closed out so many years back, Gaffney specifically. We will be presenting a Gaffney closeout as well in the near future, but we wanted to prioritize Smalley at this point.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I was going to say, are you just staying up there?
Yep. The next one is mine too.
So
approve the Smalley renovation.
Correct. We're asking that the board take action that's required to call it a final closeout, that the board takes action accepting that the project is closed out. So I would recommend a motion to that effect, Madam President.
Okay, because I was going to say it's under presentations, but that's okay, kind of threw me. So I will entertain a motion to approve the Smalley renovation project closeout.
Thank you. Thank you.
It would be really appreciated if we just finished what we're talking about before we start motioning, because I'd like to jump up and down too, because I'll jump up and down with Gaffney actually, because that Gaffney's a little bit older. Smalley is not.
I move that we approve the closeout for the project.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. K. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Perfect.
And next, as the board's facilities committee has heard recently from Ms. Gonzalez, we're working to move through quickly based on timelines from the state, the project to replace the Slade School's roof and simultaneously upgrade the HVAC infrastructure there. It's quite complex. Ms. Gonzalez is working very hard to stay on top of it. Basically, the roof project is slated to be funded through city bonding, and the HVAC project is slated to be paid for by federal ESSER dollars. So we've got two projects trying to happen simultaneously with two separate funding sources. So what's before you tonight is to talk about the educational specifications and HVAC work for that roof, I believe.
That is correct, Dr. Gasper, thank you. So a part of the application, which will be going in a short amount of time, within the next few weeks, actually, we're gearing up to get all the documentation ready for that. The education specifications for the HVAC, actually for the roof portion, is just simply a one-pager that the state is asking of us to submit. So it's basically a project summary of the building, what the building's use is. So that's what you see in front of you, which also includes hazmat information as well. The testing of the hazmat is also included in this portion of the work as well. So that's something I wanted to point out. But what you see in front of you is just a one-page specification that lists the project rationale, the roofing systems that we currently have, what is being proposed, and then project schedule, which is what the state is asking. We're asking also that the board approve the specifications so that we can submit that with the application in the next coming weeks as well.
Is this a motion or is this a presentation? This is approving the educational specs?
Yep.
Approving the educational specs, which is the one pager, correct?
Yep.
The
Correct.
Specs for the roof, yes. So we would request a motion to approve that.
So do I have a motion to approve the Slade roof project?
Can I ask a quick question before we do that?
I think we have to
Oh, we have to
motion.
motion
and then-
first?
yeah.
Okay, I motion to approve.
Seriously. All right, discussion.
The proposed new roof system, I noticed there's R30 insulation. Is there currently insulation there or on the
Yes.
existing roof?
There is.
There is, okay,
There is,
all right.
Yeah.
Just curious, thank you. Okay.
So I don't know, and one of the Canes will probably correct me if I'm wrong, because when I looked at the HVAC contract, it excludes hazardous material removal.
So the contract specifically or the proposal from KVA for the architectural designs?
The proposal.
So that's correct. That proposal will exclude it because in that proposal that's not covered, but in the contract it is covered for the specifications that will go out to bid.
Okay, so it's exclusive of this. This is the roof project.
This is the roof project, so it's
Okay.
separate. That's
We
correct.
can talk HVAC when we get there. I just wanted.
Sure.
All right,
Yep.
perfect. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so consent agenda. Is there anything anybody would like to pull from the consent agenda?
I'd like to remove F, G, and H, please.
H. I am going to remove C and B and C. Anything else? All right, so I'll accept a motion to approve consent agenda. Do I have to do that? A, D, E, I, J, and K. Oh, yeah, okay. Do I need to do that?
No, you need,
Yeah, okay.
you need what you're including in this contract.
All right, perfect. All right, so
I make
I
a
will.
motion.
Sorry?
I make a motion.
There's no motion.
Okay.
I have a motion to accept the enrollment report, item B.
So moved.
Second.
Just really quick, I had a question on the special ed, 20%. Is that average for us? Or is that a higher number than usual?
It's on trend. So
trend.
if there's actually a chart for that in my budget narrative that you'll see tomorrow night. It has been gently going up and that is typical for districts like us. It's not that distinct for districts like ours. The statewide trend is gently trending up and ours is following that trend.
Okay, and then the 98 students, do we know where they came from? Were they, you may not know that, were they homeschooled? Were they in Craig? You don't have to, if you don't know, it's okay. I
mean, yeah, we can look everybody up and we would know who they are offhand, but in terms of it.
Just 100 seemed like a lot in 3 months. So I was curious if those were the people who thought they were homeschooling and then, it's usually been like 30, 40. This is 100, so, okay, perfect, that's all. So make a motion to accept the enrollment report. All those in favor, or is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, Merrill had joined us, sorry. Mr. Gay joined us. Any abstentions? All right, so item C. I will make a motion to make an amendment to the personnel transactions.
I make a motion to amend it.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I do need to make a motion to add an administrative appointment for the Director of Finance, Assistant Director of Finance, I apologize. Need a that's a motion to add.
Motion to, sorry.
I'm sorry, is that adding an action item for the board or adding it to the person?
Adding it to the personnel transactions.
Because then we'll need a separate one for an action item.
Yep.
Okay.
I move to add the appointment of an assistant director of finance.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. And I need to add another item to the agenda to approve the appointment of the assistant director of finance.
Second.
I know.
I make a motion to approve the
I second.
director of finance.
Thank you. You second? Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, so now we can approve the appointment of the Assistant Director of Finance, Ms. Christina Jaraska. May I have a motion? This is at the first page in your document. So I need a motion to approve Christina Jaraska, the Assistant Director of Finance at NBEAC Finance Office.
I move to appoint Christine Jaraska as the assistant director of finance at NBEAC.
Second.
Is there discussion? Would you like to introduce?
I would. I'd like, I think once we have a board vote, we'll have Ms. Juraska come to the podium and introduce herself. But what I can say is before the vote is, she comes to us highly regarded by her references, highly vetted by us. The interview process was rigorous and realistic. There was not a lot of theoretical questions in our interviewing. It was very nuts and bolts about the job, and Ms. Juraska rose to the top. She'll talk more in a moment, but she has, most importantly, lots of public sector finance experience. So, as the board is probably aware, we've been short-staffed in our finance department for a while now, not just because of Mr. Kane's departure, but also for other reasons. So, having her come on board and bring her skill set is something that Ms. Alfano and I are both looking forward to.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, Meryl. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Welcome. Congratulations. Welcome, Ms. Juraska. So just introduce yourself to the board, where you're coming from, what you've done in the past.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to working here and be part of this organization. And I worked 17 years in Waterbury Housing Authority as I started probably as a receptionist and worked my way up to comptroller. And then I worked at Middletown Housing Authority for 4 years. And now I'm here and I'm excited. And I look forward to starting Wednesday morning with Ian. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Excuse me.
All right, so may I have a motion to accept the grant from the state legislature allocation of funds for emergency stabilization grant program for school readiness in the amount of $1,235,328. Is Merrill with a motion?
Second.
Yep.
Motion.
Second.
Is there a discussion? You just want
Just abstaining.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Myself.
So item G, accept a motion to accept school readiness administrative funds enhancement grant to support the role of school readiness liaisons in the amount of $157,479.48.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
All right, is there discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Reyes, I wasn't sure if you could see
Sorry.
this.
I'm abstaining.
And item G F as well. Item H, accept a motion to accept a grant from OEC Child Daycare CDC Infant and Toddler Expansion Funding for School Readiness Programs in the amount of $1,134,000.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm abstaining, but I'm really
Any
excited
abstentions?
about it.
So we have one abstention, Ms. Reyes. All right. I think that is it for pulling off consent. Under new business, accept a motion to approve the new job description for specialized classroom management trainer district-wide.
Moved. Second.
Is there discussion?
Just wanted to thank the board's committees who've reviewed this now multiple times, and it's been a good process for the management side of the work too, to make sure we've refined it. And it took that hard work for us to be very sure that this is indeed a unique position. And as has been explained at the committee level, we do intend actually to save the board money by lessening our reliance on consultant contracts.
Is there any questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so item B, I will entertain a motion to approve a new position request for 1 FTE for specialized classroom management trainer district-wide.
Motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item C, approve the AIA HVAC contract between Castle Booze Association and Consolidated School District for HVAC replacement portion of project in the amount of $5 million. I need a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, discussion, or I think you're gonna do presentation, or you're just here for questions?
Oh, here for questions.
This is connected to the Slade project mentioned earlier. As you can see, it's a ESSER grant specific to HVAC work. One very small correction for your agenda. It's labeled as item C, partnerships. It's actually, should say operations instead. And Ms. Gonzalez is here to answer any further questions, but it's connected to the item that we've discussed earlier on this agenda.
Anybody have any questions? Because I know I do. How much is the grant for HVAC?
$5 million.
It is $5 million flat.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about the hazardous materials.
Yes.
So is the $350,000 that we're paying the architect covered in the $5 million, or is that an additional expense?
It's all included.
Okay. And I'm assuming SBC is overseeing it because it's over that amount?
For Slade, the roof project itself, yes, but for the HVAC, we are overseeing it. We're signing off on the contract as a board of education, but then it gets passed on to SBC for project management.
You both said the same thing, just different ways.
Yeah, okay. Well, because I mean, I know I had reached out to Dr. Gasper because I would like the contract to be updated that the owner is not myself, but it's the Board of Ed, and I will sign on behalf of the board.
Okay.
Right.
That's something we can
It's
do.
just
Yeah,
a little,
that's
there
no
was just
problem.
something that hit me a little bit funny on that one.
Yeah, I know that the previous contracts have been signed that way. I pulled up Chamberlain and it was signed off by Francis, I don't remember the last name of the chairperson.
Francis. From
Francis.
Chamberlain?
Yeah.
Fran Walski? So,
Yeah.
Fran Walski is SBC.
Ah, I
So
see.
that's where,
see.
like, I tried to
I
pull
see.
up a few old contracts, and
Yeah.
the SBC has signed those contracts and not
Yeah.
us,
But
as
that's-
the owner.
I see, but that makes sense though, because Francis would have signed off on the Chamberlain project because it's over a certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funded, so for instance, the HVAC project is funded through ESSER funds. So that would be on our onus to sign off on that.
Because the funds come to the
Come from
board, not
us.
to the municipality.
Exactly.
Right,
So Ms.
Exactly.
Gonzalez and I talked earlier today to add some clarity. Once we get to that point in this process, with the help of our attorney, I can issue a memo to the SBC saying simply, at this point, we're turning over management of this as per city charter, just to indicate that we've done our part, now it's being turned over to SBC, if that gives the board a little more comfort. Basically to say, we're not managing it at this point. We have to do the initial part because it is ESSER funded, and ESSER is coming to the board, not to the city.
Okay, so would you amend the contract, or is it simply a memo? Because I do think the SBC should be the owner, because they are the owner. Right, according to the charter, they can plan, they can change, they can
in almost every other circumstance, yes, because things like bonded money is city money. Things that are getting reimbursed, the reimbursements go to the city. In this unique case, the ESSER HVAC money is coming to the board. So
Not going through the city.
Right,
Correct.
right. So they cannot, so the charter does not come into play, like they can't hire additional people, they can't change any of the plans, it's back to the old pre-charter change.
If you will.
Okay.
Yeah, we're managing the project. We're
Okay.
managing it because
I
it's
should be good
funded
with
through
that?
the grant.
I'll be good with that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Apologize. I'm gonna abstain. Item D. Entertain a motion to approve bid award between Bureau Veritas Technical Assessments LLC and Consolidated School District for Facilities Master Plan in the amount of $173,112.65.
I move. Second.
Any discussions?
this is the project that the board's heard me speak of multiple times. I'm really looking forward to getting this study done, having a third-party expert provide the board and me with a study on are our buildings up to date, up to code, fit for purpose, and then really engaging in an interesting, I think, long-term conversation with the board about what's the future of our school system look like, because it's not just about the buildings. It's about how many schools do you want to have? How many high schools? How many middle schools? What are the specialized programs that we want to keep and grow, and what are the specialized programs that we think are no longer serving the kids of New Britain? So figuratively, I see this as kind of the tip of the iceberg to really good programmatic conversations to happen thereafter, but also we will have this in hand. It's a 10-year plan, so then when state money becomes available in the future and a facilities master plan is required to make it an application, we'll have that. We missed out on an application such as that recently. Now we'll have that in hand, so it allows us to apply for state and federal money that requires such a plan.
And just, I did go through, because that's what I did this weekend, obviously, if you can't tell. But like, the report deliverables just made me happy as a plan.
Same.
Right? I was texting Mr. Kane, like, check this out what we're gonna get, check this out what we're gonna get. So it really made me happy.
Yeah, we're really excited to get this work going for the district.
And then, one other thing I'd like to say is we insisted on it being in the RFP, and it wasn't in the first proposal, but the vendor amended their proposal to include it. There'll be opportunities for lots of voice in this. So there's 4 separate focus groups that are planned. So that being the Board of Education, families, students, and city government. So there'll be opportunities for lots of people to have a voice in what's working well about our school facilities and what could be better.
I mean, I'm interested in hearing the report too, from everything from space allocation to needs, everything for the next 10 years. It's really planning, by year 2033, what will the Britain schools look like? And what do we need to get us there?
Made me happy.
I do want to say just one last thing, just as an operational consideration. We're still waiting for the state to approve this money. It is appropriate for ESSER dollars. I don't know if they have a backlog of such things. It's also, the other funding we're waiting for is for the 3 campus security officers that our students talked about earlier tonight. So the board approved that hiring 2 months ago now.
Right.
And we submitted the request to have the ESSER dollars allotted to that immediately, and we're still waiting on both this and the CSO dollars.
The other thing I got is how often do you plan on looking back at the plan? Once we get the plan completed and look at it, how often will you plan on updating it or revising it or?
Well, that's just the thing. We won't be updating it, revising it. We would bring in the experts. So if I would recommend that the board consider that with any major shifts. So should there be a very strong influx or outflow of kids. If we gain 1,000 kids or lose 1,000 kids, you might want to have a report like this updated. If something terrible were to happen and we lost a building to fire or flood or something like that, then you would ask a team like this to come back and say, okay, now we have one fewer building. What should we do about that? And it's, I've been involved in projects like this before, and it's just great to have a third-party expert who only knows what they see. They don't know the stories that so many of you all, oh, I remember when Roosevelt was a middle school and this and that. And some people tell me we should go back to Roosevelt being a middle school, and an equal number of people say it's,
do it.
right? But to have a third-party expert who didn't grow up in New Britain, doesn't have those stories, and really take a look at, yes, this is what's going well, and if you want to continue to have 2 large middle schools, here's what you should do. If you want to reduce the size of your middle schools, here's what you should do. So really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great point of many, many conversations with the board on really important decisions to come.
I'm a little afraid what they might find, but I'm excited, right? For somebody else to come in and say, this is what you need, and it's not us saying it. So,
Agreed.
Mr. King.
I was just looking at the schedule. Are we, assuming we pass tonight, are we hostage to the state approval for these grant dollars before we go ahead with actually commencing work and timeline?
No, we've already lost that opportunity for the grant applications, so this will get us ready for the next round.
I mean the approval of the ESSER dollars, I'm sorry.
So what we're doing is just pestering the state at this point, letting them know. I know Ms. Alfano and Ms. Sanford are making those calls and asking them to push those forward as quickly as they can. I'm not sure if they're understaffed or backlogged,
But the firm will have to wait until that's approved, or can they start work once we approve?
You know, that's a ticklish thing. The best way to do it would be to have the money in hand.
Okay.
If I can get in writing in an email from somebody at the state saying, yes, the money will come, we're just finishing out our approval process, I would probably get this to go ahead. Okay. If I had it in writing from somebody at the state.
All right. Thank you. Nurse Hilton.
And I do have, I have had feedback from other districts about it was more of a convoluted process to get the HVAC dollars than it was, and that's, I don't want to say it's an excuse because that's going to come off wrong, but that was the state's answer to everybody, oh, you don't have a budget plan, you don't have a 10-year plan, but it was never required like in the paperwork to fill it out, so.
Meryl's got his hand raised.
Oh, Meryl, go ahead.
Just a question about, is there a reason why we didn't need to go out to bid for this project, or have we gone out to bid?
We did go out to bid.
This did go out to bid, yes.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect. Motion carried. So item E, entertain a motion to approve the contract between Boga Yoga LLC and Consolidated School District of New Britain for a yoga instructor to provide mindfulness strategies for teachers and students at Chamberlain.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just wanted to say it's a really nice use of school improvement grant monies.
Absolutely.
Getting kids engaged in new things at school.
Everybody should be more mindful. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Item F. Entertain a motion to approve a contract between the Literacy Center at CCSU and Consolidated School District to provide 2 PD sessions about selecting culturally relevant literature and culturally relevant math instruction.
So move. Second.
Any discussion?
As previously stated, it's a great use of the state monies.
Yep. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to, any other business? No? Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, everyone.